For to give feedback, you can use a chat box or you can directly unmute and you can reply. That there is no issue for this. Okay. Now, okay. Okay. Can you see this slide? Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we'll begin. Just yeah. So now today we in one and a half hour we will see role of mechanical engineer in enterprises and supply chain. Now you may be aware what is enterprise and what is supply chain. That I will go through. Now it is more of a specific to mechanical engineering, but you can take generically any engineer, any technologist, or any man who will be working in an industry. Okay, what are his roles? Okay, that we will be seeing in this session. Okay, so those who have joined for their understanding, I am Dr. Bhartesh Adappa Danwade, Head Mechanical Engineering Department, Gada Institute of Technology, Lovell. Okay, now let us what we will be going through in this 1 hour, 1.5 hour session. That I will just give you overview of supply chain in local and global perspective, enterprise in local and global perspective, that is industry or unit or factory or organization in local and global perspective, what resources we will be using to run supply chain and enterprises, business functions in supply chain and enterprise. Okay, what are various business functions, or what are the functions which basically or activities which undergo, okay, which activities happen in supply chain or enterprises, and the role of mechanical engineer in each business function. I will also touch the role of other engineers or technologists or other professionals in each business function. Okay, so then also we'll see that role of mechanical engineer in various sectors. Okay, but it is not that each and every sector requires all kinds of people. Okay, not only engineer, you require non-engineering or non-professional personnel also, or manpower also. Okay, then also we'll see the core competencies of mechanical engineering. Normally these are all the core competencies which are required for any individual who is working in an organization, okay, to beat the global competition. That we'll see, and some statistics we'll see that what is going to happen in next 20-30 years in industry. Okay, so that is what is the today's uh, uh, content for the journey. Okay, now just look at this slide. That this is this figure shows you what is basically the supply chain. Normally we call, lot of time we are calling it as a supply chain management, enterprise resource planning. Okay, what is basically basic elements of the supply chain in local and global perspective? Okay, there are three important cycles to remember. Okay, one is that, say for example, you are a manufacturer or you want to produce certain products for selling in market. So you need to, your role, you have to identify whether you want to work in a procurement cycle, whether you want in a manufacturing cycle or distribution cycle. These are three important cycles of the enterprise, and if you put together all three cycles, procurement cycle, manufacturing cycle and distribution cycle, they are interlinked, and this chain is called as a supply chain. Okay, now in this you will identify that the very first part which you have this cycle is procurement cycle. Now any manufacturing activity to take place or any production to take place, you require the resources. Okay, now this procurement cycle basically deals with the resources. What are basically required for manufacturing? Can anybody reply what? Suppose you want to produce say electrical product or a mechanical product or chemical product or pharmaceutical product or financial product. Okay, now what basically you require? What are your requirement? Now suppose you want to run an organization, suppose you want to run a factory, suppose you want to run an hospital. Okay, what basically you require? Can anybody just reply? Or suppose you want to start a manufacturing activity, what are the resources which you require? You can unmute your this and then you can reply. Manpower, raw material, yes, right? So these what manpower, these are basically the requirement. A physical activity to take place, you require the resources, and these resources are to be made available for the manufacturing activities. These we call them as resources. Okay, so what are very important resources? Now you see, you want material, you want men, you want machines, you want money, you want method, you want some amount of time. Okay, so means making this available. Okay, so this cycle, procurement cycle, is basically deals with the resources, making these resources available to the manufacturing cycle. And there is these resources which you require in a procurement cycle, they will come from the suppliers. So these suppliers can be either local or they can be global. Okay, if you are in a local market, then the suppliers, low raw materials or manpower or the machines can come from the local market, or they can also come from the national market, or they can come from international market. Okay, now this is setup. This setup you can call global, you can call it as a local supply chain if your all operations of procurement are basically done in on a local basis. Okay, if your procurement cycle is nationwide, then you can call it the national supply chain. Or if you are your procurement cycle, if you are, say for example, you are purchasing the materials from the entire world, then if you are, or your manpower is from various nations, so then you can call that as a global supply chain. Okay, now similarly, once these procurement resources are available to you, then you can move to manufacturing cycle. So manufacturing cycle is basically the conversion of these raw materials or these resources which are there. Okay, converting them to an desirable product, that is a warehouse. Okay, now these you manufacture these activities and then they go to customer. Okay, now this is basically the manufacturing cycle is the in which the various activities, processes or conversion processes of a raw material or men or machines get manufactured. Okay, or they get produced. Okay, and that's why this activity is called as a producer activity. And this activity is basically core to any business, or very core to any. Now unless and until this manufacturing is there, you cannot realize any of the concept or any of the ideas. Okay, so you are required to build this product in this activity, and this activity is called as a manufacturing activity. Now here what you are doing, you are basically designing the product, you are manufacturing the product, you are using various machines to process these materials and then realize that product, and then once the product is ready, then it goes to the distribution cycle. Okay, so all these manufacturing activities, suppose this manufacturing activity like procurement activity, if it is local, if you are producing the goods, taking the raw materials and resources, okay, and you are manufacturing for the local requirement, then your resources are also local, and you are producing the products at a local level and you are selling them, then that becomes a local supply chain manufacturing activity. Now if you are doing it, your manufacturing plants are at various nation, you are in various places. Okay, and their spread is nationwide, or if it is in international, in internationally spread, so then you can call it as a global supply chain. Okay, now similarly, your products which you are producing, those can be sold, okay, to various customers. So customers can be local, customers can be global. Okay. So means, say for example, whatever products you are producing in a manufacturing cycle and you are distributing them, okay, to the customer either through your retailer network or through uh, the distributor network or through online channels. Okay. So then that distribution, now suppose your customers are this whether you are local distribution cycle or whether it is a global distribution cycle, it depends on where your customers are, whether the customers are basically are in your locality or whether they are nationwide, spread is nationwide or it is a international wide. So that based on that you can call that as the supply chain. Okay, and this is the brief concept of the supply chain in local and global perspective. Okay, so we will just move to the next slide and you will see that this is the slide which explains you what is the enterprise. Okay, and how these what are the inputs to the enterprise or manufacturing activity or factory or organization. So each and every organization or each and every plant, factory, industry, enterprise or organization requires inputs. Okay, now if you look at this enterprise as one system, okay, now any system requires inputs. Okay, so these inputs are basically in which form, as already you have told that man, material, machine, money, method, time are basically the inputs, and these inputs are coming from where? They are coming from various suppliers. Okay, if your if your enterprise is local, so these supplies which are coming as an input to the factory or organization, they are the local supplies. Okay, now these suppliers can be from anywhere. Okay, they can be from your district, they can be from your state, they can be from various states or they can be from various nations. Okay, then you can just look at the this where the suppliers are. Basically these suppliers are in market. Okay, so whatever raw materials you require, you are purchasing it from the suppliers. Okay, and that is what we have considered in the supply chain as a procurement cycle. Now these supplies are coming to you. Okay, and then they are basically stored. Where they are stored, these resources basically you are required to store. Okay, so this is the area. Once the supplies have come, they are stored. So this storage is basically a inventory. Okay, now look at in your house, for example, in your domestic house, for whatever kitchen your suppose you assume that your kitchen is a manufacturing plant, and whatever procurement, whatever is required for your kitchen. Okay, so then you are bringing in and then you are storing. Okay, basically this storing activity is basically inventory. Okay, so as to take the fluctuation in the manufacturing activity and the supplies, you are creating certain amount of supply storage, and that is basically called as a inventory. Okay, so now if you look at this procurement and manufacturing, in between there is a storage, and also between the manufacturing and distribution there is a warehouse. So the idea of the stores and warehouse is same. Okay, so now this acts as an buffer or this acts as an shock absorber. Okay, between the manufacturing activity and the procurement, whereas the warehouse acts as a shock absorber between the manufacturing and the distribution cycle. Now why the warehouse and the store are the very important activities? Because say for example, the customer demand in the distribution cycle is always fluctuating, and this fluctuation basically needs to be addressed. Okay, these whatever customer demands are there, they are to be met. Okay, what are customer demands? He wants quantity, he wants the quality, he wants at a certain price, he wants these goods to be served at his a particular place. So then any fluctuation of the customer, any fluctuation in the demand is there, that will be absorbed by the warehouse. Okay, so means I have some finished products stored in the warehouse, and similarly some raw materials stored in the stores. Okay, so these are basic. Stores are basically delivering or they are looking after the materials, raw materials required for the manufacturing activities, and warehouse basically is the storage of the finished products or semi finished products which are ready to sell in the market. Okay, is that clear? Right. So now when you have resources, when you have resources, okay, as input. So then you are doing certain activities in the plant, factory or industry, okay. So these you can call them as a processes. Lot of machines you have installed, lot of people are working there, lot of material is flowing inside, lot of money investment you have put in, okay. So all these are basically required, these activities are required to convert these inputs into an primary output, okay. That is what we call as a product. So this product can be mechanical, this can be electrical product, this can be a chemical product, this can be a medicine or whatever it is, okay. It depends on what kind of, or it can be a food product, whatever, okay. So means these all whatever inputs, raw materials are there, you are converting them to an output. That is what we call as a primary output, okay. If you are using input and then you are processing them to produce an output for the customer's requirement. So this is a very, very simple setup, okay. And this simple setup you can call it an open system, okay. Open enterprise. Open enterprise means there are raw materials which are coming in, then they are getting processed, then they are going to the customers. But here you are not, if such a system is working, so then it is an open system, then the effectiveness, efficiency, or that is not a concern, okay. You are not bothered about the efficiency of the system. Basically what is our objective? Our objective is to build an enterprise, build an organization, build an the plant or a factory which has a maximum efficiency, okay. So that maximum efficiency, what we expect, it is to be 100%, okay. So most efficient system or most efficient organization, which we can call, where the inputs are basically processed and the input is equal to output, means efficiency is equal to 1 or it is 100%, okay. So then you can call that your plant or a factory, whatever organization which you have, it is 100% efficient, right. But this will not happen in reality. Always there is a gap between the output and the input. Why it is this? There is a gap. That means whatever you are processing, whatever inputs you are processing in a factory, it is producing two or three kinds of product. Now see, the primary product, which is your intention, this is your objective, you are producing. But while producing this output, you are also producing the secondary output, okay. So that sometimes it is called as a scrap waste, but it is not basically the waste, okay. Any secondary output which is produced is a byproduct, so that will be also useful for the market and it will go into another supply chain, right. Remember this. Now if I want to make this system efficient, okay, I have to have a control over the output, okay, whether it is a primary or secondary, and also I am required to have certain control, or I have to manage the plant, factory, industry, and also I am required to manage the inputs. So this is very, very important, okay. So normally managing or managerial role is very, very important. This is basically a function of a manager, okay. Any engineer, any professional is required to manage the what he is required to manage the input, okay. So what are these inputs? Material, man, machine, money, method, time, he is required to manage. Also he is required to manage the output or the products and customers, okay. He is required to manage the suppliers, he is required to manage this scrap. So this managing act is very, very vital and important, okay. Unless and until you are a good engineer or you are a good professional, you cannot become a good manager, okay. Now just look at this. Suppose if I look at this setup, okay. So this is my entire uh, manufacturing, entire operation of a supply chain, in which I have plant, I have some input, suppliers also, then I have my output products, okay, so whether they are primary or secondary, and then customers. All of this, whole of the things are where they are operating. They are operating in a market, okay. We call it as a marketplace. So this marketplace can be a local market or this can be a global market, okay. It depends where you are operating, whether you are producing for selling in a local market, whether you are producing the products for the selling in at a national level or a national market, or you want to sell them in the global market. So means depending upon, okay, depending upon the supplies, depending upon your customers, depending upon your operations or the factory or enterprise. So you can look your enterprise as whether it is local or global. Okay. So is this concept clear to you? Is this concept clear to you? This global market, global supply chain. Okay. So next we'll go to uh, the resources. Already this we have talked of. Okay. Any enterprise if you wish to run, or any global chain if you want to run, so basically you require these 5 M's and T. Okay. So 5 M and T. What are these 5 M's? You require men and women, you require machine, you require materials, you require money, you require methods, and then you require certain amount of time. Okay. So these are very vital requirements of the any supply chain, whether it is local or global. Okay. Now the effectiveness or efficiency of your supply chain or efficiency of your enterprise is dependent on. Now look at this. What kind of and what quality of men and women you have working with you, what kind of machines you have installed, what kind of materials you are processing, how much money you have, okay, what methods you have adopted, and how you are utilizing your time. The whole of the effectiveness and utilization of the enterprise or the efficiency of the enterprise is dependent on these resources. Okay. So any manager is required to deal with, or any engineer is required to deal with, or any professional is required to deal with the men and women and their capabilities, machines and machine capabilities, materials and material properties and characteristics, then the investment, money, finance and financial matters, okay, to the extent up to the return rate of returns and all that you are required to look after. Then methods, these basically methods are the ways and means by which you are converting your raw materials into the desirable products, or also what are the methodologies which you are adopting to use your machines and materials. Okay. And now the very important resource is time available to you is very important. Okay. You cannot take an infinite time to do manufacturing activities, you cannot take an infinite time to make procurements, you cannot take infinite time to distribute the products. Okay. So means you have a very limited time. Okay. Like you have a limit, you have the what is the limitation, that say for example men and women have 100 years of age, machines also have certain age. Okay. Materials also have a certain age, money is also, it is a time value of money. Okay. So more effectively you use money, normally it is to be earned in a shorter span of time. So that is there is a linkage of the time and time value of money. Okay. Also the methods, which type of methods you are using. Okay. So these all impact the supply chain. So it is very essential that you are required to manage these resources so as to increase the efficiency or make your operations or your supply chain or your enterprise efficient. Okay. So now I will again come back to the supply chain. Okay. Now in the first figure what we have seen, there is a procurement cycle, there is a manufacturing cycle and distribution cycle, and in between these cycles you will also see there is a stores activity and also there is a warehouse activity. Now what are various business functions, what are the activities, or what are the roles and responsibilities of the men who are working in the organization, and in which departments they are working, what are their roles. Okay. Now we'll see one by one. Let us first see at the procurement cycle. Procurement cycle basically deals with the suppliers. Now what are the departments in the organization? Okay. The departments in the organization are basically dealing with the suppliers, okay, dealing with the vendors. Okay. So these suppliers and vendors are basically the material providers. Okay. They will provide you the material required for any manufacturing activity. Then you have a purchasing activity, that is means you are required to purchase, place an order, receive the goods, okay, receive the raw material, Okay, also there is a recruitment of men here. Okay, so that is one more activity, recruitment of required men, purchasing machines required for the enterprise. Okay, then stores, basically stores is for the, this is the activity which you, whatever raw materials you are bringing in, then they are, you are storing at your place. Then there is an activity called as inventory management, that as because there is a continuous consumption, there is a continuous supply and there is a continuous consumption of these materials by the manufacturing cycle. Then you are required, you are managing money, so for that you require finance and accounts department. Okay, also you are dealing with the men and women recruitment, you require human resource department, and then you require some kind of administration to look after the time management and rest all things. Okay, so these are basically some of the departments depending upon the size of the organization. Okay, so these are the various business functions. Okay, so these are called as this is called as a supplier, functions related to supplies, functions related to vendor, functions supply, functions or the activities of the purchase, functions or the activities of stores. Okay, so inventory, then various accounts and HR activities and administrative activities. So these all activities we call them as a business functions. Okay, so basically these are at the supplier end. Now, if you come to the manufacturing activities, okay, or the activities of the production or manufacturing, okay, so you are basically, you have a production department, then after that you have a maintenance department to upkeep the machines, then you are producing the products in the manufacturing activity, then you are required to have an inspection of the products, you are also required to have some quality control, then quality assurance department, then assembly department, then design department, research and development department, and packaging department. Okay, these are few departments. Now each and every department will have a different functions. So maintenance basically is required to look after the machines. Okay, so now they are required to have a maintenance, preventive maintenance, predictive maintenance, okay, breakdown maintenance of machines. Okay, then production department is required to run the machines. Okay, then get the production done. Okay, using the resources. Now the quality department or the inspection department basically looks after the quality what you are producing. Okay, its inspection, then its control, and then the passing of this quality, okay, whether they are of acceptable quality or not. So these are the activities. Okay, in some cases where the product is basically assembly of several components, so then you also require an assembly department wherein the products parts are joined together to produce an in component. Okay, this can be electrical assembly, electronic assembly plant, or it can be a food, any kind of industry basically will have an assembly uh, activities. Okay, so then you are also required to have it, some designs. Okay, machine design, material design, material or product design, product development. Okay, so those will come under the research and development activities. So each and every organization or enterprise basically needs, these are the basic activities, design and research and development. Okay, because once you design a product and you start delivering to the customer, so you are required to keep on evolving the products, new products you are required to design, develop, and then package and deliver it to that. So those are the roles. Now if you come to the distribution cycle is basically focusing on the customer end. So here you, whatever goods are produced in manufacturing, so those goods are to be delivered to the customer, because these all manufacturing activity and procurement activity is dependent on customer. Okay, so what are customer requirements, customer demand. Okay, he wants certain goods at a certain price, he wants the goods of some required quality. Okay, so these customer demands are to be met, and the today's global supply chain or the global enterprise is basically customer oriented. Why it is customer oriented? Now we are keeping customer in center, and then whole of our activities, manufacturing activities, procurement activities, we are designing. And that's why the today's world is basically a customer oriented world, and we are saying that customer is a king. Why is a king? He is dictating the terms of the price, he is dictating the terms of the quality, he is dictating the terms of quantity. Okay, okay, place of delivery and all. So we are required to cope up with the customer demand. Okay, what are the activities or functions? Okay, you need to deliver to the customer certain products. You need to have warehouse, you need to have marketing activities, you need to have sales activities, you need to have service activities, then distributors network, retailers network, or today we are basically we are selling our products to e-commerce platforms. Okay, those are online platforms. Then at the end we have the variety of customers. Now look at this, your products are basically, you are need to produce several number of products, variety of products, because your customers are not fixed there. You have the variety of customers. So means when you are delivering to variety of customers, customer you can classify on various basis. Okay, based on his income, based on his like, based on his style, based on his requirement. Okay, so the customers you can classify in various categories. So now you are required to address each and every customer's requirement. Okay, so this is basically a role of any engineer in each business function. Okay, so any if you look at these functions which you are there, you are looking at, it is not that here only mechanical engineer is required. Okay, so you require electrical engineer, you require chemical engineer, you require the purchaser, you require accounts officers, you require human resource, people who have studied human resources. Okay, people who have studied business administration. Okay, so people who have studied sales, those who have studied marketing. Okay, from various backgrounds. Okay, what are various backgrounds? They can be from commerce stream, they can be from art stream, they can be from engineering stream, they can be from the medical stream. They, okay, so means they can be from a pharmaceutical stream. Okay, so means in nutshell, this is basically the foundation for the global supply chain, or it is the foundation for the global enterprise, right? So now what are various sectors? Okay, what are the various business areas where basically we find that people working? Okay, people work for the automobiles, manufacturing of automobiles. Okay, then bank, finance, insurance, this fast moving consumable goods, health, pharmaceutical, right? IT, information technology, metal, oil and gas, public sector units. Okay, so these public sector units basically are the central government or state government run business houses. Then real estate, technology, power, energy. Okay, so industrials, telecommunication, then utilities, agriculture, chemicals, defense, education, food and beverages. Now these are various, there are various sectors. Okay, there are many more. Okay, so now you will find that in each and irrespective of this sector, okay, whether it is automobile, whether it is health, pharma, metal, oil and gas, real estate. Okay, so now each and every sector is manufacturing, is producing, is designing certain products, and those products are basically delivered to the customer. Okay, now you look at this, these sectors are, you can call them as the various enterprises. Okay, so say for example, if you take automobile, the to name few, okay, you have a Tata, you have Suzuki, you have Hyundai, you have Volkswagen. Okay, so you have Audi, you have okay, lot of manufacturers are there. Okay, so now similarly in each sector, for example, if you take pharmaceutical, you have Cipla, Sun Pharma. Okay, in IT you have Infosys, Wipro. Okay, in metals you have Jindal, you have Tata Steel. Okay, oil and gas you have ONGC. Like this, there are a lot of companies which are basically involved. And if you put these enterprises together, okay, which are operating in one basic function, say for example they are producing automobiles, then you can call that as a sector. Okay, so this basic what is the role of this sector? This sector is basically producing several variety of goods, okay, depending upon the customer requirement, and then that is delivering. Okay, so these are basically in each and every sector. Okay, irrespective of this sector. Okay, now you look at these whatever these few these sectors which I've mentioned. Okay, whether it is bank, finance, insurance, auto, FMCG, irrespective of this sector, you require all kind of people working for this. Okay, so in every sector you want the purchaser, you want a HR, you want administrator, you want the storesman, you want production people, you want maintenance people, you want quality assurance, quality control people. Okay, you want people for marketing, you want people for sales, after sales service. Okay, then customer relation. Okay, so all this, they are working in an integrated manner. Okay, so means you cannot imagine any sector or enterprise or supply chain, okay, with one individual working there. So means you require variety of people, okay, coming from various backgrounds and various skill set, various capabilities. Okay, so that makes an completely heterogeneous organization. Okay, it is an heterogeneous organization. That's why it is a global organization. People are coming from various nations. They are coming together so as to, okay. Now today's all business houses, we call them as a multinationals. Why we call them as a multinational? Because they are producing, their operations are global in nature. They are procuring raw material from various nations. Okay, various suppliers. They have manufacturing plants spread world over. Okay, and also they are basically selling to various customers. Okay, so their presence is there worldwide. So that's why we look at these role of an engineer or anybody, okay, in a various sector, in an holistic way, right? So now, why suppose if I want to compete, if I want to remain in this global enterprise, in a global supply chain, I need to have certain qualities. Okay, so what qualities I should possess. Okay, now these are the called as the core competencies. Okay, so if you look at this list, okay, what are your core competencies? You require now basically look at what are the skill set required for any individual. Okay, see, if you want to be identified as a best person or a competent person in the global market or in the local market, you have to have the qualities. Okay, now I will give you four fundamental qualities. You should be very good at a conceptual skill. Okay, what is conceptual skill? Idea generation, idea creation. Okay, so means when you are very good at a conceptual concepts, okay, theoretically, practically, and by experience, so your conceptual skill is required to be very high. Okay, so your idea generation should be high, your thinking capability should be high. Okay, so means for this you need to have an exposure to various subjects. Okay, so now I have given you a global scenario. It is not that you should have a knowledge of only your subject, knowledge of your area. You need to have a knowledge of each and every aspect of. Now you see the global supply chain. If you look at a global supply chain, so from the supplier end to customer end, you need to have an exposure. Okay, for that you require various concepts, various thinking, various ideas, various philosophies, and this we call as a conceptual skill. Okay, so basically once you have a you are good at a conceptual skill, then you can become a good person or a good manager or good um, engineer, or you can be a good chartered accountant. You can be a good professional. Okay, now after that you need to have a good design skills. You need to have a good design skill. What is design? Design is nothing basic, but basically nothing but converting your concept into a reality. Okay, so means whatever idea you have, that is to be put into some picture or figure or some prototype or model. Okay, so that is what the design skill is. Now conceptual skill, design skill, and after this you need to have a technical skill. What is the technical skill? So you need whatever design, whatever idea you have put into a design or a prototype, then you require to convert that to a physical entity or into a product, and then you are required to sell it to the market. Now while having this conceptual skill, design skill, and the technical skill, you need to also have a good human skill. Okay, human skill is basically the skill which is basically related to communication, related to relations, related to managing, okay, the managing the interactions and all. Okay, so these, you should be good at these all four skills, then only you can be a good a competent professional or competent mechanical engineer. So means if you look at the competencies today, what basically world is looking at, an what competencies the industry is looking at, or what organizations are looking at. Okay, now just to list here, I have taken listed few here: analytical and critical thinking. Okay, so basically, as I have told you, you should be very good at the analyzing the situation. Okay, you should have a good critical thinking. Okay, then explore issues, analyze, do certain amount of research and evolve it. Okay, then you should have a problem solving ability. Okay, whatever problems are there across the global supply chain, you are required to solve them. Okay, so you are required to have a solving ability. Then you are also required to take the initiatives. Okay, you are required to take the responsibility. Okay, you are required to possess leadership qualities. Okay, then you are required to have the quality of a project management. Okay, that is planning, organizing, prioritizing, implementing the plans and all. Then you are also required to have certain digital literacy. Digital literacy means today the world is getting IT enabled, or it is getting computer literate. Okay, so you are required to use the technology, okay, to the possible extent possible. That means today the world is the digital world. Okay, it is all, you are controlling all your processes, all your procurements, all your distribution through the technology. And you should be aware of, and you should have hands-on experience on the digital platforms. Okay, also when you are working in an organization, you are required to follow certain work ethics and professionalism. Okay, so managing time, focusing on first customer. Okay, being accountable for each and every activity. Then you are also should have a capability of working with a team. Okay, collaborating with the other people. Okay, and then also you should be flexible enough and adaptable for the changes. Okay, that is very, very important, because each and every day the products are changing, the customers are changing, supplies are changing, raw materials are changing, your manufacturing technologies are changing. So you are required to keep keep in pace with these changes. Okay, so you should be flexible enough, and you should be adaptable. Also, you should be very good in verbal communication, non-verbal communication, written communication. Okay, so communication is very, very important. Okay, so now this era we call the communication era. Okay, so most of the things are being done using technology. So a lot of communication is communication channels, whether verbal, non-verbal, okay, written or non-written communication is using the technology. Okay, so there is now today's global supply chain, or the enterprise basically is highly IT enabled, or it is all highly computer enabled. So that's why now today we are saying that it is all computer integrated. Okay, so now we are thinking of computer integration of the procurement cycle, computer integration of the manufacturing cycle, computer integration of the distribution cycle, and each and every business function he has become now computer integrated. Okay, now that is the role of a computer in the today's global scenario. So you are also required to have uh, a knowledge, a hands-on experience on the newer technologies. Okay, like today we are talking of artificial intelligence, we are talking of machine learning, we are talking of the data science, we are talking of, okay, the the computer integrated manufacturing systems, computer integrated selling systems. Okay, today also we are talking of enterprise resource planning using the SAP, the BAN. These are the basically the platforms which are we are using it for our various activities of the business. Okay, so you are required to have these aspects into mind. Now let us see some scenario in next 20-30 years, what is going to happen. Okay, in industry. Okay, if you look at the global industrial growth, I have given you these index of activity. Index of activity is nothing but the business activities. Now basically I have considered only two: manufacturing and energy. Look at this, what will happen the almost since 1990 to 2025, okay, these figures will double, and these will triplicate by next 20-30 years. So this is an opportunity in the global market. This is the opportunity in the global enterprise. Okay, so that's why today we are thinking of not only selling our products to the local market. Okay, we are trying to sell it to the total entire world. Okay, so that we can be leaders in manufacturing. Already, if you look at the manufacturing energy, okay, to name few sectors, in pharmaceutical, in chemical, okay, in automobile, we have already made certain amount of presence, and now we have got recognition as a global manufacturers. Okay, now similarly we have become energy sufficient. Okay, so now tomorrow we'll produce energy and then we can sell it to the world. So like that, so you, in each and every sector, these are basically, now see, I have taken manufacturing and energy as a benchmark, a benchmark, because see, each and every product needs to be manufactured and needs to be sold, and for each and every manufacturing require activity you require energy. So means these are interrelated and interdependent. Okay, any growth in the manufacturing will take place only with the if the energy is available. Okay, and energy will only take place if there is a manufacturing activity. So these are all highly synchronized. Now each and every sector which we have discussed, they are all synchronized. You cannot imagine a sector okay, in isolation. Okay, so that is the this is the scenario of the global industrial growth. Okay, now similarly, if you look at the industrial production, this is statistics from for India. Okay, now look at this. India, if you look into the this graph, okay, so till 18, 19, 19, 20, okay, so it has seen a decline. Now today is on a growth. If you compare this, that it is getting trying to get integrated with the global industrial growth. Okay, so that's why you will find that there is some certain amount of time required to align with the global requirements. Okay, now today we are not global suppliers. Our imports are our imports are more and exports are less. It is the indication. Okay, so what we need to do, what we need to do, we need to restrict, okay, the imports, and we need to increase the exports. Okay, so this ratio uh, will indicate that whether the trend has reversed, whether we have entered into a global market. Okay, now if you look at this graph, that is three sectors which I have taken into consideration, that is the steel, cement, and core sectors. Okay, now you will see that till it in the till last year, okay, it was almost flat. Now if you integrate this production growth of the industries, okay, into the growth index of industrial production, so this is rising. Now similarly here, it is necessarily, it is required to be rise, because it is all population dependent. Okay, so population is growing, customers are growing, okay, the financial positions are growing, means goods required by the population will be more, and that is the best indicator that you are required to be competent enough, and you are required to get yourself, okay, you are required to equip yourself with these competencies required, okay, to make yourself. Now this is the scenario of the output, the investment capital, employment, and factories. Now look at these figures. Okay, so since financial year 13 to financial year 18, okay, you will see that roughly this graph is flat. Roughly this graph is flat. It means that, so we basically we have increased till 513 financial year 13. Okay, so this growth was continuously increasing. Now it has got a maturity stage. Okay, it is getting stabilized. Now here we require intervention of the engineers, we require the intervention of the technologies, we require the intervention of the competencies. So means this generation and the next generation is required to work more hard. Okay, work learn more competent, become more professional. Okay, to increase this graph. Okay, it means that we are stabilizing, it means that we are not enhancing our capabilities. Okay, our capabilities of procurement, our capabilities of manufacturing, our capabilities of distribution needs to be improved upon. And this is the opportunity which is available to any professional. Okay, so that means it means that it is, you have a large scope, okay, to go ahead, right? And if you look at the Maharashtra in a global investor summit data, okay. Now the most important aspects are that lot of MOUs have been signed by the Maharashtra government, basically in textile, engineering, food processing, defense, manufacturing, and e-vehicles. Look at this. Now you look, if you look at these sectors which I am talking of, okay, so they all are basically the high value sectors. Okay, so each and everyone requires textile, each and everyone wants engineering products, each and everyone want food, or each and we are to be self-sufficient on a defense, on a security, okay, and manufacturing, and also on electrical or vehicles or automobiles. Okay, so this is the next generation. Now what will happen if we have signed MOUs with these sectors, in leaders in these sectors? It means that is going to create a lot of jobs. Okay, in the next 5 to 10 years we will be creating around 35 lakh jobs, okay, in only in Maharashtra. Okay, now majority of these jobs are basically will be um, housed in almost every district. Depending upon each and every district in Maharashtra has some specialization. There is some demographic consideration. Okay, so these all sectors will be get distributed, and overall growth of Maharashtra is expected in the next. This is the local scenario. Okay, then also it is expected that another 4,500 MOUs are in line. Okay, so the expected investment is around rupees 10 lakh crore, which is likely to come in next 3 to 4 years. And this is basically an opportunity to you are required to utilize this opportunity. How you will utilize? You are required to make yourself aware, you are required to make yourself competent enough to use this opportunity and convert that opportunity into wealth creation. Okay, so that is what is the objective of the today's session also. Okay, so now the central government has taken up several initiatives. These initiatives basically are to create the employment. Also this is to create the uh, create the entrepreneurs, create the organizations, create the enterprises of the global level. Okay, so we have now the today you are every now and then you are hearing about the Startup India. Okay, then handcraft industries, Stand Up India, Mudra, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana, Setu self-employment and talent utilization, Atal Innovation Mission, self-employment in horticulture, National Rural Livelihood Mission, okay, Make in India program, ease of doing business. Okay, so all these are basically the efforts towards uh, moving from an local scenario to a national scenario, and national scenario to a global scenario. Okay, so now our march is basically we are starting wherever we are now. From here we should start our march, and then we should play a very important and vital role in in a global supply chain, and that is what is expected from you and me, and that is the basic objective of the this webinar. Okay, thank you for attending. If you have any queries, you can ask me the questions on this. Just I will take down, I will close the if you have any queries, you can ask me. Do you have any queries? Any questions? Vedant, is it useful to you?
Yes, sir. It is useful.
Okay. So it is irrespective of whether you are electrical engineer, whether you are instrumentation engineer, whether you are okay, whatever role you are going to play, you are going to play your role in this kind of a scenario.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Any specific questions? Thank you very much for attending. Okay. I hope that this webinar will be useful for you.